So Margaret, I got a seed tray full of our soil here. Would you like to plant some seeds?
Yes.
Okay.
Thanks, Jack. Okay, so we can use any type of container really. It just needs to be about 3 inches deep and have some drainage. So you can poke holes in yogurt containers, or you can make nice wooden flats or use recycled ones from the store. Don't let that be a barrier to getting started.
Right.
Okay, so we have filled it up, and you want them to be pretty full because you'll see as soon as you start pushing them down, the air squeezes out and lower the space. So make sure they're nice and full. And then you have your seeds. And seeds come in a range of different sizes. You have big squash seeds, you have medium cucumber seeds, these are smaller basil seeds, eggplants, tomatoes, chard.
Wow.
We generally want to have 1 plant per spot.
Right.
And so these big seeded squash seeds we just put right in the middle. And we're just going to lay them across right in the middle of each of those cells. And these little tiny basil seeds. So they're hard to separate, but I'm going to try and drop in 2 to 3 of those seeds. And the reason for that is they come up as small seedlings.
Right.
And so I can take one out and move it, or I can just kill one.
Right.
But by putting a couple more than I need, I can have a better chance of having every single one of these full.
Right.
So it's nice to do that on occasion. These chard seeds are intermediate size, and I just drop 1 in the middle of each of those cells. So we drop them in, and in that manner we fill the entire flat. And once we have all those seeds, we can then grab some of this seedling mix and sprinkle it over. And you want to cover those seeds. It would probably be maybe a 1/2 inch of soil on top.
Okay.
Now the important part of this whole thing is that in order to get good germination, we need to have good seed-soil contact. And the way that we get that is by
pressing
down.
Right.
And that will secure those seeds in that soil and give them that good contact for germination. Seeds don't need light to germinate for the most part, so they need moisture.
Right.
So that contact ensures that moisture. And it also helps when we start watering to keep those seeds in place.
Right.
Now that we've got our seed tray sown, we're ready to germinate those seeds. And basically we just need to put them in an environment that is the right conditions, the right temperature, and water. And to know that, you can read the seed packet and see what the ideal conditions are. You can also talk to your local garden experts. Every community has blogs, newsletters, garden centers, some way to find out the local knowledge.
Right.
But once you have that figured out, just make sure that these stay moist. That's the #1 important thing.
Okay, so Margaret, what do you do now after you have sown the seeds?
The watering is the most important part.
Okay.
And the goal is that your seedling mix should be the consistency of a wrung out sponge. And it's important in this early stage when your seeds are not really attached to anything, they're just sitting in that soil in contact, to have a gentle watering stream. So I have some water here, and I have this really fine nozzle. So before I even start on my seedlings, I get that flow. And then I gently rush it over.
Wow.
And I don't like to directly water because you can move too much soil and splash your seeds around.
Right.
So that's why I like to be very gentle about it.
Yeah, it's like a fine mist or a rain. Gentle
Exactly.
rain. Yeah.
And if you're going to be gone for a few days, or you're in a hot climate and you're concerned about the soil drying out, you can add extra water to the bottom of the tray if you don't have holes, and it will be wicked up by that soil.
Right.
Typical is to water about twice a day. Of course, this depends on what the season is like, but a morning and an afternoon water is typical. In an environment that isn't too extreme, And so you can use a greenhouse, you can use a porch, you can use your kitchen window. You can create the environment so that the soil won't dry out too quickly. Maybe you have create the right temperature environment.
How much sun should the seedlings get?
The seeds themselves don't need sun to germinate.
Okay.
So once the seeds germinate and you have green growth, that's when you need to start really thinking about the sun.
Okay.
And getting enough sun for them to get the food they need.